Good morning, third graders. Here is our Chapter 5 test. Now, I know as you're reading this, you're saying Chapter 5 performance. Well, we talked about last week that a performance is what an orchestra does when they are ready to show what they've been practicing. And this is going to be an iMovie documentary over Chapter 5. So here's the assignment objectives. Now the objectives are the things that we want to accomplish with this test. The first thing is to create a 1-minute movie segment on the subject that you chose from Chapter 5. Now 1 minute doesn't seem like a lot of time, and it's not. It's going to go by very, very fast. The second objective is to research your Chapter 5 topic. Now it's a textbook, could be from an internet, dictionary, encyclopedia, or an interview with a subject matter expert. A subject matter expert is someone, could be mom, dad, teacher, someone from the community that you know knows a great deal about your topic. Now you can't just use one of these. It has to be two or more. It could be a textbook and a dictionary, or the internet and a subject matter expert, another classmate, mom and dad. Needs to be two or more. The third objective is to compose a written script of your presentation in documentary format. And we'll talk more about what the documentary format is later. But you do have to have a script. It has to be written down. You can't just wing it and make it up for the whole 1 minute. The fourth objective is to import at least 2 pictures of your choice and insert them into iMovie. Now I'm going to show you how to import a picture one time, and after that you're going to have to do it on your own. Now if you didn't understand it, that's okay, because I'm also going to show you where to find how to import pictures on YouTube, or you can ask one of your classmates and they can show you how to do it. So please pay attention. The fifth objective is to create and import one handmade artifact of your choice on the topic. And I'll talk more about this in just a minute. But you have to have one thing that you make by hand that's talking about your topic. The sixth objective is to collaborate with your classmates to decide on a logical order of the topics during storyboarding. Now, collaborating means to work with everybody in your class as a team, and we're going to do that. And a storyboard is like what we did with St. George and the Dragon assignment, where we had the pictures and you had to put them in the right order. So it's going to be the same kind of a thing, but we're going to have to put the topics in an order so that they make sense. And the last objective is that you're going to perform your script in person and through voiceovers. So I want you to use multiple ways. I don't just want it to be like you see me right now in your screen. I want you to also be able to see it or just to hear it and not see it, so that there's differences, and it gives it more, it's going to make it more interesting to other people as they watch it. Now, we talked a little bit about social studies standards as we were talking at the beginning of the chapter, and as we've worked through the 4 sections in this chapter. We have choices, have consequences, and we've talked a lot about consequences. We've talked about how good decisions have good consequences, and bad choices have bad consequences. So we've talked a great deal about that this year. Individuals have rights and responsibilities. Rights and responsibilities was a huge part of this chapter, so that's going to be an important thing that we need to discuss in our video. Societies are shaped by their beliefs, idea, and diversity. So the things that we believe shape who we are and the character of the people around us. And that was very clear when we talked about segregation, in this chapter, so that needs to be pretty important also as we go through this. And the next one is that societies experience continuity and change over time. So we have um, this kind of dealt with a little bit of the women's suffrage movement as well, about how things change over time. So that'll be another important aspect. And number 5, relationships between people, place, idea, and environments are dynamic. That means that things between people change. They're not always the same. Now, this isn't just a social studies assignment. It's also a language arts assignment. So these are our English Language Arts Common Core standards that fit with this assignment. You're going to be writing an informative, explanatory text to examine a topic and convey ideas and information clearly. So you're going to be explaining something to somebody. To do that, you need to introduce your topic or the information in a way that illustrates it and is useful in aiding comprehension. And to do that, we're going to make a documentary. And it's not going to be just on paper. It's going to be you presenting in a different way so that it will help people to understand the information that we had in Chapter 5. After you introduce it, you have to back it up with facts, definitions, and details. So you can't just have all facts, and it can't be all definitions about a topic, and it can't be all details about your topic. It has to be a little bit of everything. So this will help us to make it more interesting for people to listen to. We can also need to use linking words and phrases. Also, another, and, more, but, and these need to help connect our ideas and our topics from one to another and in its own topic. We need to have a concluding statement or a section. So at the end of each topic, it needs to have an ending that will help to lead it in to the next topic. And I put this in here as an example of length. So what we have is your speech is going to be 1 minute in length. And I don't know, that may seem like a lot or it may seem like very little. But if you think about it, 1 minute of speech is about 80 to 100 words. So I know that seems like a lot of words, but it's really not. When you put that into comparison, if your sentences have an average of 10 words, then you will need 8 to 10 sentences, which if you're talking about some very complicated topics like segregation, you could have pages over that information. Here's some pictures these are pictures that I just pulled off the internet. The first picture that you see here is Rosa Parks, and this picture here is Dr. Martin Luther King, and the last picture here is of Mohandas Gandhi. So it gives you some ideas of things that you could use in your presentation, and I just selected them right off a Google website and imported them right in. So you're going to need to remember, I'm only going to show you one time, and then you're going to have to figure out how to import it. Here's an examples of the artifacts that I talked about earlier, and we talked about some of these as well. Here's a diorama. This looks like a picture, but it's actually a drawing of Dr. Martin Luther King with pencil. And this one is a sculpture basically made out of Legos. And so I want you to be creative. I don't want you to use everybody to do a diorama. I don't want everybody to do pictures. You could do a foldable. You could make a poem and read it. You could make a statue or a sculpture or paper mache. I want you to be creative and think of something different and how you're going to make your topic, how you're going to make an artifact for your topic. So here's the grading criteria. So it's going to be 100 points total, and you can see that right down here at the bottom. Your presentation To present it, it's going to be worth 10 points. As we work together, I'm going to be grading you in class on how you work with each other. Remember, this is a team, and we can't have one person who is the boss, and we can't have people who sit back and don't say anything. We all have to contribute in some way. The artifact that you make is going to be worth 10 points. It's a maximum of 10, so the most you can get is 10. The least you can get is 0 if you don't make anything. Importing 2 pictures, you're going to get 10 points per picture, so it should be really, really easy, 20 points total. Your script is 40 points. That's 5 points per sentence. Now, if you get more than 8 sentences, that's great, but your sentences will be graded for punctuation, grammar, spelling. So make sure that it's written well, and don't hesitate to ask for help if you need it. And the research that you do is going to be 10 points. Now, this is 5 points per source. Remember, I said you need to have at least 2. You can have more, but the 2 is going to give you the 5 total. So now that we've gone over the assignment, here I'm going to show you how to get to iMovie so that you can start practicing and playing with iMovie a little bit on your own. Down here in your toolbar on your dock, you'll see a bunch of icons. Now, the icon right here that we saw at the beginning is the iMovie icon right there. So when I click on it, it's going to load up iMovie. And it'll take just a minute to load. Now, I've created some other movies on here with my class last year that we collaborated on. So here is what your iMovie window is going to look like. And here is an example of the movie that I made last year with my 4th graders, and this was about compassion. And I used lots of video clips in here. You can see it as it goes on. We imported some different clips. We added titles talking about and then at the talking about compassion, and then at the end we had our cast of characters, so you can see. So I want you to get on when you have computer lab time, and don't be afraid at the end. If you want to get on, use iMovie, try it out. This is how you start taking videos right here with this option. So get on there, try it out, experiment, and try to create some things of your own. You're not going to hurt the program and the computer, so get on and investigate it and try something new, and let's see what we can come up with.